Jamal Niaz here with my good friend Andy Aspinall. First time we ever sat on camera together and had a chat, and you've had a very eventful day with Tom.
Yep.
Been in Birmingham,
Yep.
and Tom, your son, interim heavyweight champion of the world, Tom and Jon Jones had their first face-to-face conversation today. What was it like from your perspective?
Normal, really.
Was it normal?
Yeah. He was just sat on a thing, and his guy knew that Tom was going to go over, and we just went over, and he was nice to meet you, and he was polite, and Tom was polite, and let's hope we can get a fight on, and if they will, they will, and if they won't, they won't.
From the energy that you saw from Jon today, because I mentioned it to Tom before, there was a moment where Tom was being polite, putting his hand on the shoulder, and Jon brushed it off. From the energy and the interaction that they had, what did you make of Jon's energy today?
No, I thought he was all right. He's got an injury, hasn't he? And it might have been on the injury, and I didn't see it at all until somebody told me before. I think they were all right about everything.
Do you actually see that happening? Do you see Tom getting the fight before Stipe? Do you think there's a way that Dana can be convinced?
No, I think he's made his mind up that he wants to have this Stipe and Jon Jones thing, and that's the UFC's business. Tom made a noise about it because Tom didn't want it to slip away. He's always wanted that fight with Jon Jones, and it's just a competitive thing. You know, he wants to compete against the best. Jones showed himself to be the best. I personally think that Jones and Stipe should move to the side and just let Tom get on with fighting, and the winner of that fight Tom whenever. But it's not up to me, and I'm not bothered as long as Tom's happy and competing. I'm not bothered with fights, really. And
in terms of the way Tom and Jon match up together stylistically, you know, Tom's ground game is absolutely incredible, but we see a lot of his striking. His striking kind of cancels that out, doesn't give him an opportunity to really show much of his ground game. As an overall martial artist, both of them, how do you think they match up?
They're different. Tom's a in and out type fighter. Jon Jones is a stand in front and pick fighter. Jon Jones is a really good wrestler. Tom's a good wrestler and quicker than Jones is. I just think they're different, and it depends whether Jones carries his weight up to heavyweight. You know, when Tom hits somebody, it's fast and hard usually, and Jones is a stand in front guy and pick. You know, a shot, another shot. He'll find it. I think he'll find it hard to hit Tom if he does that. I think he'll need to be quicker, and he'll need to get hold of him, and Tom's not been got hold of yet, so we'll have to see what happens when that happens.
Do you think Tom finishes him inside the distance?
I just think Tom finishes everybody who he fights. He always has done. I don't know. As he keeps moving up, everybody gets harder, but Tom just keeps doing what he does, and he's got a gift to finish people. He always has at wrestling and jiu-jitsu and at MMA. You don't know. I don't know. I just like to see him being competitive. I like him to have a good fight with Jones and see who's the best. That's what it's all about, really.
You see those fights that Jon had with Reyes and Thiago Santos, you see that he's getting more hittable as he's getting older. And obviously the Gustafsson fight more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You see the way that those guys landed, then you see someone like Tom who's as accurate and deadly as he is. That must fill you with a lot of confidence as a coach and as a father.
Yeah, I was thinking Tom, it's been drilled into Tom, heavyweight fighting's different. Whether Jones carries that power at heavyweight, he wasn't a knockout guy at light heavyweight. Tom's a knockout guy at heavyweight, you know, and he's got to land on him, which is hard. He's got to get hold of him, he's going to wrestle him, which is hard. He's got to take him down and keep him down, which is hard. I just think Tom's a natural 18-stone, big, fast man. And Jon Jones wasn't in the fights that you talked about. Whether he's better at heavyweight and it suits him better, we don't know, because we didn't see a lot against Gan. Apart from that, Gan wasn't that good in that fight. Jon Jones just dominated and finished him quickly, which he could do against Tom, but I'd like to see it.
And obviously we live 5 minutes away from each other in a small town called Atherton, which people in the United States, worldwide, won't have heard of. Many people in England have never heard of our small town.
Yep.
But to see your son reach the pinnacle of the fastest rising global sport in the world, to be where he's from, to see how he's risen and matured as he's got older, how much pride does it fill you?
I'm just happy that he's happy, and believed that if you work hard at something, you know, you sometimes get what you work for. But the best mic guy in the world has got to come from somewhere. Why not come from Atherton in Manchester, from somebody who's dedicated their life to doing this? That's what he's always done. I finished my job when Tom was 12 to teach jiu-jitsu, but he was a good jiu-jitsu guy then. And we've just added and added and added, and he's got better and better and better, and he's had some good coaches coaching other disciplines with him, and I've always coached him every afternoon and now every morning. But he's trying. That's all you can do, is just keep trying, and he's gone so far so good. We'll just have to see if he can keep doing it.
Amazing. Well, I know that the UFC is hopefully coming back to Manchester in July. Tom's got to be headlining against Curtis Blades for that. Surely it's got to be happening.
Or Leon, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't bother him whether he headlines or not.
Yeah,
he just yeah, definitely. He just wants the competitive fights. He can't wait around for Jon Jones forever. He had his go at trying to get the fight for Jon Jones, and neither of them wanted it. The UFC wouldn't move on what they were doing. Tom can't sit around on a couch. He wants to fight, so he's going to fight.
Appreciate the time. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you.